So I think we have two things. One, we're in the right place at the right time because we've had oil prices coming down, halved from what they were. Inflation has come down, global food prices and therefore food prices in India have come down. So a lot of the fundamental issues which were prevalent for India or affecting India have been sorted out from a global macro standpoint. And then we have a new government which is a pure majority government after 2 decades. I think that's made a big difference, and then we have a prime minister who's taking very positive steps. I think there's a lot of euphoria both in India and outside. Expectations are high, and we've seen some of the things happening, but I think there's a long way to go. So it'll take 6 months, 1 year before you'll really start seeing traction on the ground. But the mood has changed significantly. I think we're so far behind on the manufacturing, and it's less than 20% of GDP. It's now come down even lower than that. I think the opportunity and the quick wins are so big that we could easily jump the curve, and it could be a big propeller to the GDP, big employer, and we've underachieved significantly over the last couple of decades. I think I'm glad to see the focus back on manufacturing in India, and also it gives us an opportunity to become an export base other than being a producer for the domestic market. So I think it's an important theme. I'm glad it's being taken up. And I would say Make in India along with the other initiative of ease of doing business. I think they would go hand in hand, which will help. So I think, we're at an early stage in our development cycle, and I think there's a lot of potential in a lot of areas. If you look at infrastructure, we're decades behind China. I think there's a long room to catch up. So infrastructure clearly is lagging behind. That has a potential. Manufacturing of all kinds, with power, there has been production. We've had the coal auctions coming up soon. I think you will see power sector growing. And other than manufacturing, I think I see a lot of potential in the services sector. The tourism sector will grow. The recently announced e-visa and visa on arrival, I think we could see a 30-40% growth in tourists immediately. The IT services export sector. So I think there's a mix of manufacturing and services which will both do well. It's not an either or. I think it's going to be an inclusive growth this time. So I just got in this morning, but the mood in general from the meetings I've had already has been pretty positive for India. And the global community has realized that whether it's the BRIC nations or whether it's the emerging markets, there are very few countries who've got their fundamental act right. And we seem to be, one, at the right place at the right time, and secondly, we're getting our act right. And I think it's a golden opportunity to get global flows coming into India because a lot of things seem to be falling in place at this time.